Hey everyone, today I'll be showing you how to make FX Gelatin Cubes. Gelatin is great and easy to work with to create basic cuts, burns, lacerations, and almost anything else you will need. Gelatin is made of demineralized animal bones. It tends to stick to itself in liquid or sticky form, as does latex, and its worst enemy is water. This means it can easily be broken down by water. The downside to this is that it can also be broken down by sweat, so keep this in mind when using it for your projects. Anyways, let's get started. To make FX gelatin cubes, you will need gelatin powder found at your local grocery store, mainly in the baking or jello section. My grocery store only sells the Knox brand, which comes in 4 little packets. Each packet has already been measured out to 1 tablespoon. This box costs about $3 to $4 Canadian. Next up is glycerin. You can buy special effects glycerin like this one here from Jordane Cosmetics, but regular glycerin from your local pharmacy should do just fine. For the purpose of this video, and because it's probably more accessible, I'll be using the Life brand glycerin from my local pharmacy. Now the third and final ingredient is regular tap water. You can also use distilled water and it should make your gelatin cubes last longer, but it's not necessary. Moving on, the ratio we are using is 1 part gelatin, 1 part glycerin, and 1.5 parts water. Today, I'm making a small batch, so if you need more, just double up, but make sure you're sticking to the ratio. Now again, my packets of gelatin are pre-measured per tablespoon, so we're using 2 tablespoons of gelatin powder, 2 tablespoons of glycerin, and 3 tablespoons of water. If you want a bigger batch, I would recommend using 8 tablespoons or half a cup of gelatin powder, 8 tablespoons or half a cup of glycerin, and 12 tablespoons or 3/4 of a cup of water. Now we're going to mix that all together until you have an even consistency. Make sure you are using a microwavable safe container. If you don't have one, you can also use a ceramic coffee mug. Once you have all the ingredients mixed, you can put it in the microwave. Make sure you are only microwaving for 6 to 8 seconds. It is very important you don't over microwave gelatin because you do not want it to boil. Gelatin gets very hot very quickly. If the gelatin gets too hot, it can shatter the glass or ceramic that it's in or even melt through the plastic. If the gelatin is not fully liquefied, you can reheat it for another 6 to 8 seconds. If you're using a bigger batch, use 12-second increments. Be very careful when removing gelatin from the microwave. If it touches your skin, when it's too hot, it will stick to your skin and burn you. For this particular batch, I had to heat it up twice in the microwave in 8-second intervals. If you are still having an issue getting it liquefied after the second time you heat it up in the microwave, you may be having a problem with your ratio, or you just need to keep heating it up in 8-second intervals. Once your gelatin is in a liquid form, you will notice an awful smell. To fix this or reduce this, you can use a very small amount of perfumed lotion or cream. Mix this into your gelatin, but be careful not to use more than a dime's worth, or you can change the consistency of the gelatin. Next is pre-coloring your gelatin. There are so many different ways to pre-color gelatin. You can use a drop of your foundation color or even different colored flocking for different effects, such as red for blood or irritated skin. When adding your foundation color to your gelatin mixture, make sure you are using tiny drops and mixing thoroughly. You don't want to add too much and ruin your mixture. Flocking is made up of tiny masses of fibers. I don't have any on me right now, so here's a picture from Google. Add small amounts to achieve your desired color. Remember to add any foundation or coloring materials when the gelatin is still liquefied. If your gelatin starts going sticky as you're mixing, just reheat it in the microwave. I decided not to pre-color this batch, but remember, even when you're pre-coloring your gelatin, you'll still need to add colors when you're applying. Lastly, pour your gelatin into an ice cube tray. You can either let it sit in a cool area to set or put it in the fridge for 5 to 10 minutes. Now that your gelatin has set, peel it out and seal it in a Ziploc bag. It's a good idea to write the date your batch was made and any colors you added. Now on to cleanup. To clean the container or mug you were using, simply pull out the leftover gelatin. This gelatin can still be reused, so throw it in with your cubes. If there is any gelatin residue, just use water to break it down and wash as normal. Well, that's all for today's video. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe, and if you have any questions, leave it in the comments below.